Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? This is a special live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Not because something bad has happened or something crazy has happened, but I just figured that I'd go ahead and do a live stream in hopes that some of the people that email me with questions would be here. And I had a couple of hours to spare, not enough to actually work on a video, which I can do plenty of videos, but enough to come and spend a little bit of time with you all. And I wanted to talk about a few things today that I'm interested in. But I know that I've gotten a lot of emails asking about solar generators, I wanted to leave the floor open to you all. That's why I named the title of this live stream Open Door Policy. Just like in the military, there's an open door policy where you can go and talk to whoever the sergeant or whatever is anytime, right? So I figure I had to name it something. I might as well name it Open Door Policy so that you can walk on in and ask any questions that you have. However, let me go ahead and start. Well, let me say hello to a few of you first. Hopefully I'm coming in okay. Can you give me a number one if I'm coming in all right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a serious heat wave here in Alaska. And I've had to close all my windows except for a little part of one window so that I can get some signal in. So I'm hoping that I'm able to get enough signal where I'm coming in loud and clear. So let me know if I'm coming in loud and clear by giving me a one. Oh, that's great news. Great, because I even had to change the dehumidifier function and put it on air conditioning function, because if you all remember, the bunker has a metal roof. All right. And that metal roof likes the heat. So it's keeping it nice and toasty in here, a lot hotter than what I would like it. I know that if I showed you what the temperature in here is right now, you would all laugh at me because it's a lot worse than what it is. It's a lot worse where you are. But right now it's like 77 degrees in here. That's in the bunker and outside, ladies and gentlemen. That is no bueno whatsoever. All right. So let me say hello to a few of you before we start off. EG, how are you doing? Doggone it. Nice to see you. Miss Red. Midga Preparedness, how are you? Trox from Alaska, nice to meet you. Nancy McDaniel is here. Scott Hummer, Tracy, D. Lonzo, Barbara, Kathleen Ralston, how are you? Troll is here. Joshua Ryman, Preppin' Time. Don't you know is here? How you doing? Don't you know? Prepper Mom, me too. How are you doing? Patricia, Scott, Joyful Orange, Debbie Meadows, Nicole Stacking, nice to see you. Gary Wright, Nostradamus is here. Prepared Suburbanite, good to see you. Yes, hot and humid in North Carolina. Root Cellar is here. Larissa Riggleman, how are you? Jan is here. How you doing, Jan? Good to see you. Let's see. Happy Mac is in the house. Keisha is here. How are you? Let's see. Yeah, YouTube didn't give you much of a notice, ladies and gentlemen. Don't blame YouTube, though. That was me. I put up the video for public view about half an hour ago or so. So that's my fault. It was just an impromptu thing. All right. So thank you for being here, those of you that are here. I'm sure that a lot of people probably won't get a notice for a while. Prop 42 star file, Carrie. Evita is in the house. How you doing, JR? Evita, good to see you. Ultra Mega Prepper, Grinton Grace. How are you? Cheryl, Sherry. Let's see. Janice, I think I've seen you out there, Janice. Good to see you. Polly, Debbie, Virginia, Lady Freedom, Mario's in the house. Linda Bop. Let's see. Choose Life 96, Clayton Horton, Smoking Swamp, Deborah Ramirez. Tyler is here. How you doing, Tyler? Matthew Trucking, Crazy Backyard Chicken Man, RG71. Now, for those of you that may have missed, this is an open door live stream. I mean, bring any questions that you may have. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I do know that I've gotten an email from a couple of people, and one of these community members emailed me. I was supposed to get a hold of them by phone to answer some questions, and I'm going to try again this Saturday, but I've been extremely busy. I mean, very busy. So I tried getting a hold of them a couple of times, and it was a no-go. It was a no-go. So hopefully I can answer some questions that some of you may have, but more importantly, that maybe would motivate you all to go out there and do a little bit of your own research, right? Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, the things that I talk about and the opinions that I give, it's the things that I do. right? And it doesn't mean that my situation is the same as everyone else's, right? You may be able to get a little bit of guidance from the stuff that I talk about in respects to that it can push you in one direction or another as far as what you want to do, or if you look into it a little bit more, it may make you feel more comfortable in what you're doing for your own personal situation. But not everyone's answer is going to be correct for everyone else. Let's see. I hope that made sense instead of me just babbling. How you doing, Raymond? Good to see you. Angie, Bundle Keeper. Let's see. Alaska Gwen says, today is much nicer than the last 2 days, but it's been fantastic to get sunshine. Yes, it has. I've been running. If you haven't seen the video that I put up, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think it was Monday night, where I ran my necessities for, I think it ended up being like 9 days before I finally ran out of battery power, because we had like 2 days in a row where we had almost no sun. But it was a great experiment. I really learned a lot from that little experiment. And I think what I'm most excited about is to know how cheap it would be to be able to run the necessities in my household with gasoline being used to power a solar generator. Meaning that if we had absolutely no sun, I would be able to power everything that was a necessity in my house with my solar generator, and then topping my solar generator off with a small, efficient gasoline generator. I'd be able to power my whole house for less than 30 gallons an entire month. I think that's really good, less than 1 gallon of gasoline per day. It came out to like 3/4 of a gallon of gasoline per day in order to power all of the things that I need in order to continue to have somewhat of a good standard of living. Yeah, we may not be, keeping the hot water heater plugged in all the time, but in my experiment, I was able to take a shower and plug in my hot water heater maybe like once every 3 or 4 days or so, right? And it may sound like nowadays, it may sound like, oh my goodness, 3 or 4 days, but think if you didn't have any energy going through the grid at all. That would be a luxury, ladies and gentlemen. So I learned a lot from that little experiment, and I'm very motivated to know that if something did happen, that I would be able to keep the power in my house running for a long time. And that was just with one solar generator. I used the one that I have that has the most battery power. I really wanted to use this guy right here, the Opus Mega 5. That's the one I really wanted to use, but I didn't think that 5,000 5,000 watt hours. Sorry, there's a plane going across. I didn't think that 5,000 watt hours would have been enough for those days where I didn't get enough solar. And it would have proven to be correct. I think 8,000 to 10,000 watt hours and having solar, let's say like every other day, it's going to work out just fine. And that's pretty much how it worked out. I ended up having 2 days with really bad solar, and that's what ended up draining down my battery all the way down. So yeah, it worked out great. Anything between 5 to 10,000 or 8 to 10,000 watt hours, I think works good. Let me see. Pat Small, how you doing? It's 90 degrees up in Maine today. T. Otto, how you doing from North California? Jeffrey. Let's see. Okay, let's bring it down some. What is this? Lady Freedom says 30,000 naval troops called up. Really? Well, it's just a cycle, ladies and gentlemen. It is a cycle, and unfortunately, we are at that part of the cycle that calls for a big war. That's very unfortunate, but it is just part of the human cycle. Happy Mac, how you doing? Paul Sargent, good to see you, my friend. Bell Prepper is here. Let's see. For those of you that just joined in a few minutes ago, this is just an open forum today. Open door policy, meaning you can bring in any questions that you may have, and we can share that with the community in case someone had the same question but just didn't ask it. Let's see. Rob Johnson, how you doing? Good to see you. Alien Prepper, how you doing? Disney Up. Kerry Booth, how are you? KD. KD says, no sun in Anchorage. We're getting plenty of sun here. I've actually, even though I ended my little experiment with my solar generator, I'm still using it. I mean, the sun is coming in right now, and I'm producing enough energy to easily power my freezer with no problem at all for the entire day and night and everything. So last night we ended up the day with 100% on all batteries. So by the time that the sun was in a position where it wasn't generating any electricity for us because it wasn't hitting our solar panels, we ended up the day with 100% on all batteries. When I woke up in the morning around 4 o'clock, 4:15 in the morning, we were down to like 80 something percent on the main unit and about 80 something percent on each of the other batteries, like in the low 80s, like 82, 81, something like that. And right now, when I came out here to the bunker, they were already up in the 90s. So it's taken a while for them to recharge, but at the same time that they're recharging, the freezer is still running. So it's just more convenient to just have the freezer plugged in for just every day, and it does save quite a bit because that freezer pretty much runs all day long. Than to have the freezer and the refrigerator, because I'd have to run a cord from the refrigerator to where I have those outlets. Let's see. Okay, let me bring it down a little. Mario, I don't know. One of these days I will. Okay, I've had so many people ask me if I would sell these, but I just don't feel right selling these. I mean, I really don't. Yeah, I'm gonna give them away. Just let me think of something. Maybe I'll wait until we do our Christmas giveaway and then give some away. I don't know, but we'll give some of them away. Let's see. Good question, Raymond. Raymond asked, how long past the best buy date will a pouch of instant potatoes last? Now, it depends if it's just potato flakes, okay? So if you've got a pouch of, let's say, potato flakes that's like flavored, you know, like with bacon and sour cream, you know what I mean, right? Some like loaded potatoes that they sell, those may have a best buy date that's a lot less than just potato flakes because you have all of those extra ingredients in there. So if you just have potato flakes, they are one of those, what I like to call forever foods that you can pretty much store forever. They fall in the same category as dry milk, as rice, as wheat berries, as beans. You can put them in a container, in a sealed container with an oxygen absorber and seal it up. And those things will last you 25, 30 years, and I would say even longer. It's one of those really good things that you can put away for a very long time. And the key is it's because they are so dry. Potato flakes are so dry that there's pretty much nothing that can grow on them as long as they are properly sealed and stored. All right, so good question. Ray 100, how are you doing? Good to see you. Whitney B, how are you? Stephen Palmer, how you doing? Mimi, how are you doing? Virginia, Nancy McDaniel, Big Chap is in the house. Never look back. 104. Hot dog. I'll stop complaining, all right? I'll stop. Look, ever since I started talking, ladies and gentlemen, the temperature went up. A lot of hot air coming out of my mouth. Oh, my goodness. Deborah, I'll tell you what. This is terrible. You all want me to share something with you that has to do. Someone actually emailed me this not too long ago. Let me show it to you. Let me show you how it is that the climate is always changing and that the climate alarmists, i.e. the mainstream media and government pundits that tell us that the world is coming to an end, that they're lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll sit here and tell you that they are lying to you. Someone emailed me this, and let me share it with you just so you can see for yourselves. Let's see, not video file, not that. Boom. Okay, right here. This right here. Okay, so check this out. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right, so do you all see that? Now, I wasn't planning on making this like a climate change thing, but somebody, brought this up. It says here, EPA uses misinformation to promote climate fear. 1 year ago, all right, listen to this. 1 year ago, if you had visited the EPA's page on heat waves, okay, you would have found the lead chart to be the one below, which is the one that we're looking at right now. It shows that heat waves peaked 90 years ago and have been at a relatively low level, all right, since that time. Now, take a look, ladies and gentlemen. It's like I tell you, when they show you charts, they show you the parts of the charts that they want you to see. But if you take a look all the way back here at the 1930s, look at the heat wave. Look at that compared to what it is around today. Now, this only goes up to 2020, but I'm pretty sure that we're not matching what we were matching here in the 1930s, how high it was. So when they tell you, yes, we have had the hottest year on record, what record? That's the question you have to ask. The hottest year on what record, and where did you get that record from? All right, now let's go ahead and show you a couple more things. And thank you very much to the person that sent me this. I have to reply to your email to say thank you, but thank you in case you are watching. Now check this out where it says, since the government allows nothing good about our modern climate to be presented, the above chart has been replaced with the one below. So this is not a very convenient chart for them to use to fulfill their agenda. Why? Because it shows that the heat waves that we're having are moderately low compared to the ones in the past, even as far back as 2010, right? 1990, 1955, and of course, here the 1930s. So they don't want you to see this, ladies and gentlemen. But what do? Oh, look at this. All of a sudden, the charts that they have now only go back to the 1960s. See that right there? That goes back to 1960 right here. So if you go back to 1960 right here, if you can follow my mouse, of course, it looks like heat waves are only increasing. It's an uptrend. If you go back to 1960, it's an uptrend. All right. So what do? They went back to 1960 because from 1960 on, we had an uptrend. Just like from 1890 on, we had an uptrend. All right. And then we had a downtrend. Well, 1960, we have an uptrend. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to show you exactly what they want you to see. They will show you exactly what they want you to see and hope that you don't do your research so that you can follow their agenda, so that you can do what they tell you to do, because they're going to scare you into doing what they tell you to do. And more of that is coming down the line, right? More of these fear tactics, more of these lies, right? Because I consider that a lie. It's a lie by omission. When someone shows you a chart and says, hey, look at this, things look really bad. But then they don't show you the second half of that chart where it's really telling you, well, things really aren't that bad. Look at this. And we survived it. We survived the 1930s, right? Everyone survived the 1930s. We're still here. Was it easy? No, but we're here. We survived, you know, and they weren't being taxed at the rate that we are being taxed now. Goodness gracious. Imagine if we were being taxed at the rate that they were being taxed 70, 80 years ago. It'd be like great times, ladies and gentlemen. The economy would be booming, you know, if it weren't for a Great Depression. But don't let them scare you. It's the only way that they're going to get people to do what they want you to do. Look at what happened a few years ago. How many people were scared a few years ago? And they did something that they probably wouldn't have otherwise done. And now a lot of people are falling ill because of some of the things that they were forced or coerced to do. Don't let them scare you, ladies and gentlemen. Do what Bear from Bear Independence says. Use your no muscle. Sometimes it's not easy, though. It's really not. Sometimes it's not easy to use your no muscle. Has he really? I'll have to check on Pinball then, because this is the second time that I hear about this, that he's disappeared from YouTube. Okay, I will check on him and see. I mean, I don't have his phone number or nothing, but I can at least send him an email. Okay. Hey, Tommy, how you doing, Tommy Bites? Good to see you. Jersey Gypsy, how you doing? Clayton Horton. Very hot in Rhode Island today. Low blood pressure, what's up? No power today. No power today in Fort Riley? Let's see. Stephen Palmer, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Pinball is taking a break until the 26th of July. Good. Good for him. Did you see that, the fam? There you go. Pinball is taking a break until the 26th of July. Let's see. Yep, there you go. Pinball took 10 days off. Good. LC in Florida, how are you doing? Good to see you. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was watching a YouTube channel today, and I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, like prepping YouTube videos on a daily basis. I try to hit one or two on a daily basis, like watch maybe one or two videos from two different prepping channels, because I don't like to overconsume prepping because it's very stressful, and it really is, especially if you just consume. I don't like to call it bad news, but I like to call it reality, because the reality that we are living in, a lot of it is bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are in the fourth turning, and that's what we're going to have. We're going to have crisis after crisis. Right. So how do we get through this? By being informed. Very important. Right. But one of the channels that I watched today was City Prepping. Now, I've been subscribed to City Prepping for a really long time. And don't ask me what his name is. I forget the names of everyone. I don't even remember the name of Full Spectrum Survival, a Canadian Prepper. I don't remember their actual names. I just know them by their channel name. Okay. One of the only few YouTube channels that I watch on a regular basis that I remember his name is Gray Man, right? I know his name, and Billy, all right, because I talk to them all the time. But anyways, I was watching his video, and let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I don't agree with every single thing that any one YouTuber has to say. So you know, every time that I talk about a different YouTuber on this channel, I always get back some like negative feedback. Okay. That's okay. But what you need to ask yourselves is, what do you like about them? Right? Because there's something that you have to like about them. So I always encourage people to, when they watch a video, no matter who it is, but especially like a DIY video or a video about preparedness or news or stuff like that, ask yourselves, what do I get out of this? Right? Don't unsubscribe or leave or anything like that just because there's one or two little things that you don't agree with. Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of things from some really big YouTube channels that are a lot bigger than mine. But I stay there because you get the good little tidbits that you would otherwise miss, right? So if I said, oh, I'm not going to listen to this guy, he doesn't agree with me when it comes to this. Yeah, but what about all the other stuff? So anyways, the point that I wanted to bring up with City Prepping is that I think he has an awesome channel, and he's a really good guy. And he's close to getting 1 million subscribers. Now, whether we agree 100% with each other or not, one thing that I think that we can agree with is this, is that people need to wake up to the fact that they need to be prepared for anything, especially in the times that we live now, right? We need to be prepared for anything. And the more people that can wake up, the better that it will be for all of us, right? And the way that YouTube works is that once you hit that 1 million, man, they shoot you out to everyone. They recommend you to everyone. I think Canadian Prepper hit 1 million like 2 months ago, and I think he's already up to like 1.2 million. So he's gained like 150, 200,000 subscribers in just like a month and a half or 2 months. And that's a good thing. Whether you love the Canadian Prepper or the City Prepping, whether you love their channels or whether to you they may be mediocre channels because you don't agree with everything they say, it's a good thing overall. Because what happens is let's say, for example, City Prepping, let's say he hits 1 million subscribers, and then YouTube starts recommending him to everyone, right? Because he's hit 1 million subscribers. Then what happens is other people that have never heard about prepping before will be recommended his channel. And then they'll go ahead and hopefully start consuming his channel's work. They'll start consuming his work. And then when they consume his work, guess what YouTube's going to do? It's going to go ahead and recommend to those new people that are now watching prepping videos, is going to recommend to them those other prepping channels that are not as big. So it's a good thing for everyone. It's a good thing for City Prepping because he's growing his channel and he's hit 1 million subscribers. It's a good thing for those people that discovered his channel and now are discovering the world of preparedness. And it's a good thing for all the other content creators that promote preparedness, because now their content will also be recommended to a new group of people. But overall, it's a good thing for everyone, because even those new people that are being recommended preparedness content, now they can go ahead and start preparing. So go and support City Prepping. Subscribe. If you have 2 YouTube accounts, subscribe to him twice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get him to 1 million subscribers, because it will be better off for everyone. And I'm not saying this, I'm not talking to you about this from a selfish perspective, but I do know one thing for a fact, and I think that you would agree with me, and that is that the more people that are prepared in your community, the better off that you'll be. The more people that are prepared in our state, the better off that the state would be. And the more people that are prepared within our nation, the better off that our nation would be during times of crises. So if you're not subscribed to City Prepping, go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to him so that our prepping community in YouTube will grow. It's not just about my channel or Pinball's channel or any one channel. It's about the entire community, ladies and gentlemen, right? And that's it. I'll get off my soapbox on that topic. Wendy Rowe, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm going to bring it down because I'm really, really far behind right now, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking too much. I remember someone telling me once on a comment, man, you talk too much. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit in front of the camera and not say anything? Okay, there we go. Pinball's coming back from vacation tomorrow. Good for him. That's awesome. It says here, gasoline in Tennessee has shot up to $3.45. I haven't gotten gasoline in quite a while because I haven't rotating my old gasoline from last year. But driving past the gas station today, I think I had a doctor appointment today. So driving past the gas station today, I think I seen it at like $4.39 or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty high right now. As far as I'm concerned, it is. Man, I always forget the name. Shelter Logic. Grint Grace asks, what brand are your green carport looking like building? If you're talking about like the tent, the green tent, it's a Shelter Logic. Right? It's a Shelter Logic. Very, very good tents. The only bad thing about them is after about 3 or 4 years, the fabric starts to get porous because of the sun. But if you've seen what I did to mine, I went ahead and bought a really big white, thick tarp, and I went ahead and put it over it and secured it to the frame. And now the white tarp pretty much reflects the sun away from it. And it's in the white tarp. I think I've had it there for, I think this might be my 2nd year that I've had that tarp on, and it's still in great shape. Man, this is, unfortunately, Joshua, yes. Joshua asked if WW3 pops off, do you think we'll experience any fighting in the U.S.? Unfortunately, Joshua, my sentiment is that there are already, and I haven't really talked about this because, ladies and gentlemen, I like to leave hope on the table. I like, therefore, to be hope on the table. I don't want people to live in despair, right? But the fact is that, in my opinion, and I believe it's a fact, there are thousands upon thousands of foreign nationals in our country, in the United States of America, that are part of sleeper cells that are waiting for an order from their home country to do whatever kind of sabotage or T word, the T word that you can't really say on YouTube, operations that they're told to do by their home countries. And you can pick whatever home country it is. Pick any country that is not friendly towards the United States of America, and you can bet your butt that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of those foreign nationals in this country right now just waiting for orders. So will there be foreign troops marching down our streets and us having a linear battle or war? Like this side is bad and this side is good? Maybe not, but there are already foreign troops on the ground that just don't look like your average soldier does because they're just wearing plain clothes. And I would say that in the last year or two, there have been even more so because of the porous border that we have in the South. There's a lot of foreign nationals that are coming in through the southern border that are not very friendly to the United States, that are not necessarily looking for a better life, that are looking to follow orders when the time comes. That's where I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Penny Willis. Hello, AP. I have my first solar generator and dual fuel generator comes. That is awesome. Now, that is a great combination. That is awesome. I really like to hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not very difficult to power your home for a long time if you just have a small generator. All right, watch the video that I put up a couple of days ago. I know it's 30 minutes long, but put it on twice the speed. I just talk a little bit faster, but you can still understand what I'm saying. Put it on twice the speed. I know it's like 30 minutes long or so, but look at that video and it proves to you that you can power your home, power your essentials for very little money and for very little gasoline if that's all you had to power your home with, as long as you couple it with a solar generator. It just makes sense. Okay, let's see. We're bringing it down. $4.89 in Nevada. Hot dog. Isn't that crazy, huh? So what do you think about inflation, ladies and gentlemen? Has it come down? Has inflation come down, ladies and gentlemen? No, it will never come down, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let me go ahead and correct that. The rate of inflation will be coming down, but the prices that were the symptom of that inflation aren't coming down. We may see a little price drop here and a price drop there because the laws of economics, when it comes to supply and demand, they are still in effect. But for the majority of prices, they're going to stay up, and they have found a new floor. It's what I've talked about for years. I personally believe that the price of gasoline here in Alaska will never see under $3 again. Right? No matter how good things get, I don't see how it can, because there's so much money out there in the system. There's so much inflation in the system that we won't see gasoline for under $3 again. Pretty crazy. These are very interesting times that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, and we should appreciate living in these times. We are going to see things that normally are not seen for hundreds of years. Like I said, we're coming to the end of a lot of cycles, and we're going to see things and experience things here in the next decade and a half or so that haven't been experienced in a very long time. Some are good, some are bad, right? And some are very, very bad. You know, talking about the next, 50 years or so, there are some things in line that's supposed to happen that for humanity. But what can we do about that except to be as prepared as we can and be good with our Lord? If you're good with your God, then you're going to be all right in the end. Because, all we're doing here is occupying this physical body, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Okay. Nickel says Twinkie store 75 to 100 years. Listen, Nickel, make sure, all right, that you understand what you're talking about. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I was in the Army, I used to have a Lieutenant Reyes, all right, Reyes, and he loved Twinkies. He ate a Twinkie every single day. Every day he had one Twinkie, all right, and then he found this Twinkie once that was like 2 years old, and he bit into it and he almost threw up because the cream in the middle was, he said it was so spoiled and sour, it was like rotten tasting. So they may store for 100 years, but are you willing to eat it after 100 years? Hey, how you doing, Sandwich? Good to see you. Let's see. Nicole, how are you? Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. Daryl, how are you doing? Fluffy Otter is in the house. Lady Freedom, how are you? Nancy. Hey, Sven Holgrim is in the house. How you doing, Sven? All the way from Norway. All right, let's bring it down. Yeah, Adapt 2030. That's one of my go-to channels. David Dubine, that guy is awesome, right? I love watching his work. He deserves a heck of a lot more subscribers than he's got. So if you're not subscribed to Adapt 2030, go check him out because he deserves to have 3-4 times more subscribers than what he has. Tammy P asks, what do you think about WorldCoin? Well, WorldCoin, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I think about WorldCoin. All right. Now, I'm not an expert at this. WorldCoin to me is kind of like the same thing that FedCoin is. But FedCoin is like the bridge to a CBDC for the country, for the US, where WorldCoin is a bridge to a world CBDC, meaning that the countries will be able to interact with WorldCoin and then have their own CBDC, i.e. control over their own people. That's what I think WorldCoin is. And it is nothing good. CBDC will bring humanity to its knees for a while. And then I believe that humanity will eventually get up off their knees and get on their feet and fight. And what I mean about bring humanity to their knees, I don't mean that every single person, I have to say this because a lot of people will get triggered by it, right? What I mean is that maybe not every single person will go with it, and not every single person will. You know, I'm sure I won't, you won't. We're prepared for that, right? But most people will. Most people will accept it. But the thing is that once they have control over that CBDC, whereas there's no more physical cash in the system, and they totally control everything that you can buy and that you can sell, and pretty much everything that you can say, depending on how much you want to be able to buy and sell, right? Then people will eventually wake up to the fact that they made a huge mistake in accepting this form of currency, a form of currency that is meant to do only one thing and one thing alone, and that is completely enslave you and control you. All right, so I think we're going to go through some bad times. Remember, there's going to be some crazy thing that happens. We're going to have a major crisis occur where this CBDC for the United States will be ushered in, and people will be okay with it, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people suffering. People will be all right with it, right? Now, the crisis that occurs, it may be a man-made crisis, meaning that it was done on purpose, or it may be a natural crisis, and then just the crisis being taken advantage of by the government in order to usher in this new monetary system. All right, ladies and gentlemen, but most people will accept it. Why? Because most people are already in dire straits. Most people in the United States already live paycheck to paycheck. Heck, I think it's 38% of millennials went back to live with their parents because they can't afford to live on their own. I think it's like 25% or 40% have their parents pay at least one or two of their utility bills or their rents. All we need is a really nice crisis that will put most of the people that are already in despair in even a deeper state of despair, and they will say, yes, give me whatever you got. As long as you take the pain away, give me whatever you got. And then we'll go into that little CBDC, and then, ladies and gentlemen, after that, we're going to lose a lot, if not most of our freedoms, and it's going to take a while for people to finally wake up and say, nope, we've had enough. We can't do this anymore. Because I still stand that, yes, good will prevail over evil. It's going to take a fight. Let's see. Grandma Bear asks, where can we get a copy of that EPA? I'm not sure. Let me see. No, I don't have it up. If I remember, I will go ahead and leave a link to it if there is a link to it. All right. If not, let's take a look real quick. If not, ladies and gentlemen, here, let me see real quick. Just go ahead and type in EPA uses misinformation to promote climate fear. Type that in, and then more than likely this same chart will pop up in your feed if you type that in. All right. But I'll try to remember to go ahead and leave it on a pinned comment. Sometimes I forget because it takes about an hour or so after the live stream is over for me to be able to edit anything on it. Okay, bringing it down. Let me see something real quick. I see I have 4-star comments. You know what? Let me go ahead and say thank you very much to Jeffries for becoming a member of the Ladies and Gentlemen's Club. And I apologize for taking so long to acknowledge that you did this. So thank you very much. And let me see. Faye Patterson, hello from Puget Sound. Thank you very much, Faye, and hello to you. You know, I am I was stationed in Washington State for like 5.5 years. So, and thank you for becoming a member, Faye. And thank you again for joining. And the gas in oh my goodness. Look at this. Gas in Seattle is $5 a gallon and rising. Incredible. That is amazing. Man. And I mean, I don't think it's going to get any better, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's not going to get any better. Take a look at our strategic petroleum reserves. Our SPR is what it's called. It's at the lowest that it's been in, I don't know, like 50 years. It's sitting at about 350 or so, 346 million barrels, I think it is, where normally it's topped off at about 750 million barrels. We are less than half full. We can literally say that the glass is less than half full, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's only about 20 days worth of oil should a catastrophe occur where we could not pump any oil out of the ground and or import any oil. Oh, is that Karma? Karma girl, you want to say hi? There's Dog, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that want to see Dog, there's Karma right there. Karma. They're hanging out in here because it's too hot outside for them, especially Karma. Karma gets really hot outside because of her cold. But like I was saying, you know, what happens if we have some kind of a catastrophe, some kind of a natural disaster where we just can't pump any oil, and we can't import oil? We have less than 20 days worth of oil, ladies and gentlemen, in our supply, in our strategic supply. You know, and that strategic supply is the way that our country preps. That's how the country prepares. So you know how I say that you ought to have enough gasoline at home to fill each of your vehicles at least one time? Well, I'm going to ahead and modify that. Have enough gasoline at home to fill each of your vehicles at least one time, and then add another 30 gallons to that in order to power your solar generator with a small gas generator should you have no sun to power it with, to ensure that you can at least continue to live on for another month. And it gives you time to think, is what it does, ladies and gentlemen. Preparations are not an end-all be-all. Preparations, all they do is they add a few days, months, maybe in some cases, depending on how well prepared you are, a year or years to the clock, as far as how long you have to think about what you're going to do next. So the more that you have put away, the smarter that you are about what you have put away, the more time that you're going to have in order to think about what's my next move. And because things just aren't looking very good. Jenny Murphy, how are you doing? Good to see you. Glory to God. How are you doing? Michael is doing really well. Oh my goodness. He's walking, ladies and gentlemen. He's walking. He's got a front, his whole front mouth is full of teeth. His hair is nice and long, and he's getting into everything. Right? He's getting into everything. I probably covered this on a previous video or live stream, but I want you to picture something because here about a week, I just saw him a few days ago, but about a week and a half ago, they visited, and I made some ribeyes. And I made some ribeyes, and I put them on the counter, you know, on the board, and I cut them up, you know, after they rested. And when he saw that piece of meat, man, he came running to it, and he grabbed a big, thick slice. And he grabbed the slice, and all you have to do is picture a little 1-year-old who's just got his front row of teeth, right, with a slice of ribeye in his hand, in a fist, and there's blood and grease going down his arm, and he's gnawing on it. It was awesome. But no, he's doing really, really good. I'm very, very happy that he's doing so well. So yes, there is going to be something big soon. All right. For whatever the reason. I mean, this, I think, is a joke. Lady Freedom says things are heating up in Congress. They're about getting ready to impeach Biden. There's going to be a cyber attack soon, and they'll be arresting Trump this week. You know, something big is going to happen. All right. And the reason something big is going to happen, I went over that during our last live stream. There's too much corruption in almost everything. Right? We live in opposite world. All right, we live in a world where good is bad, bad is good. You know, a boy is a girl or a girl is a boy or whatever you want it to be. We live in an opposite world, and something bad is going to happen because there's too much corruption coming out for them to be able to cover up. So they're going to have to use one of their little tools, whatever tool it is, to make sure that they can inflict as much pain as possible on the people to get their eyes away from what's really going on. So I believe that something big is going to happen probably before the end of this year, because all of these bombs that keep coming out, all of these truth bombs that keep coming out, it's like, man, how are these people not in jail? But then again, when I think back, look at all of these other criminals from years past. They're not in jail. Why are they not in jail? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're not in the same club. They're in a club of their own, right? And we're in a different club. You know how I hate using this word, but you know how everyone's always talking about privilege nowadays. Privilege this, privilege that. Well, there is a class in our society where there are the privileged, and that's them. It's those people that can break the laws and not go to jail. It's those people that do not adhere by the rule of law. Remember that the rule of law, ladies and gentlemen, is for everyone. The rule of law was set in place. The Constitution of the United States of America was put there so that if you make $15 an hour and you're driving 70 miles an hour on a 55 and you get pulled over and be given a ticket, then you know for sure that as somebody who made $1 billion a year, if that person was doing 70 miles an hour on a 55, that person would get the exact same ticket that you would get. That's the rule of law, where it doesn't distinguish between the poorest from the richest, where it doesn't distinguish between classes, no matter what kind of classes we have. That's what the rule of law is about. And we have no rule of law. Look at all of the banks in the past several years that have been convicted of felonies, of committing felonies, all right, that are punishable by years in federal prison, where no one went to jail, where all they got was a fine. There is no rule of law, ladies and gentlemen. The rule of law only applies to those of us that are the plebes, that are the cattle, that are the people that pay the taxes in order to continue this Ponzi scheme called the Federal Reserve Note, i.e. the dollar, going on. Because that Federal Reserve Note, that dollar, that fiat currency is what really gives them their power. That's what people don't understand, how important money is, how important financial or monetary policy is, because money is what gives them their power. So what did they do, ladies and gentlemen? Put it down in the chats if you know what they did. If money is what gives them their power, our overlords, those that want to control us, money is what gives them their power. So what did they do? They created their own money. God gave us money. God put money on inside the earth so that we can use it to freely trade with each other, so that we can use it in a way that was fair, to fairly trade with each other. But that wasn't good enough for the powers that be, so they had to create their own money. They had to create their own silver and gold. But one day, ladies and gentlemen, it is they, and this is what I believe that verse from the Bible means. One day it is they who will be throwing their silver and gold. This is their silver and gold that they created in order to control us. One day they will be throwing their silver and gold onto the streets because it will have no value. But God's money will have value forever. Okay? Now, I know now that some people are going to be like, well, it's not going to have value if you're starving. You can't eat gold and silver. I mean, but you just have to study a little bit of history. If you're still in the camp of you can't eat gold and silver, then you have to study a little bit of history, because you can't eat this either. I mean, take a look at all of the pictures from Venezuela, from the Weimar Republic, from Germany. They're hyperinflation. Take a look at all of the pictures where they have wheelbarrows full of money, full of fiat currency, paper notes. They couldn't eat that either. But what can you do with this today? You can buy goods and services. You can buy food with it. But when it's worth nothing, what can you buy with it? Nothing. And when this here is worth nothing, This year will always be worth something. Just like in Venezuela, where they use silver and flakes of gold to buy groceries, to get haircuts. Oh, but AP, I thought that silver and gold in Venezuela, it's not really, they took it away from the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the black market will always thrive no matter what. There will always be a black market. You will always be able to go get a loaf of bread, no matter how much bread is rationed. You will always be able to go get a pound of meat, no matter how much meat is rationed. It's how much of this do you have? How much do you have? And this right here is what's going to protect your wealth when this right here is no more. And I'm not saying that this is going to disappear, but it's going to be greatly devalued. I have no idea how I got into that, but let's bring it on. Hey, Ann Palmer from the great state of Louisiana is in the house. How you doing, Ann? Waters Family Homestead, how are you doing? I am going to come down a bit. So if I missed a question, ladies and gentlemen, just go ahead and re-ask it because I'm like 30 minutes behind. All right. So let me bring it down a little bit closer to the bottom. What time is it? Oh, we're at 51 minutes. And I think I failed to mention to say thank you very much for joining in today. Yeah, the dogs look nice and comfy. They love that couch. But Karma usually gets on the floor after a while because she gets hot. Keisha asked, Rudy, is your bunker one of those? Oh, Keisha, I wish that this bunker was one of those prefabs. No, I built this bunker from the ground up. Yep. It would be so nice to have like a prefab. All right, let's bring it down. Bring it down. I'm still really far behind. I'm going to try to get at least 10 minutes closer to the end. Let's see, Bell Prepper. I was looking at buying a big buddy heater, but it says not safe for indoors in Canada. Says it's safe indoors in the States, though. Not sure the difference. I cannot give you any recommendations or advice on this, but I'm going to tell you what I would do. All right, Bell Prepper. If I lost power and the only thing that I had in order to heat a space was a big buddy heater, I would use that big buddy heater. The big buddy heater that I purchased states that in order to use it safely indoors, that you need about 9 cubic inches of open window. So 9 cubic inches of open window is the same as saying, let's say that you have a window that's 2 feet. You know, a lot of smaller windows are like 2 feet by 2 feet. If you open that 2-foot window by a half an inch, you're getting 12 cubic inches. So if you open it by half an inch, you're getting 12 cubic inches. If that's all I had to heat my home or to heat a space to stay safe, I would have no problem using it whatsoever, right? Only because it says one thing doesn't mean that it's true. And who is it coming from? Government, of course. The people that never have to worry about power going out. It's very easy for government pundits, ladies and gentlemen, and representatives, as so they call themselves, to make all of these rules, regulations, pass laws. Because most of these rules, regulations, and laws that they pass, they never have to follow themselves. Do you think that this thing that Biden was talking about, I seen an article, I just passed by it, where they're now coming after our water heaters, right? Now they want to add some technology to our water heaters that's going to make them more efficient, but now they're going to cost X number of dollars, $100, $200 more, or whatever. Do you think that that's going to affect anyone that's making that law? Do you think that anyone that's making that law cares about how much it's going to cost to implement that? They care not, ladies and gentlemen, because they'll never have to absorb that cost. And if they do, they will absorb that cost at your expense. So it's very easy to make rules that you know you yourself will never have to adhere to. Hey, Copernicus is in the house. I don't think I said hello to you, Copernicus. Devil Dog Prepper, how you doing? Let's see. Let's bring it down some. Oh, that's great. Digital currency has been turned down in Vegas. Casinos can't use it. Digital currency, if you're talking about a decentralized digital currency, I think that's bad. If you're talking about a centralized digital currency, then that's good. I think that decentralized digital currencies, ladies and gentlemen, is just another word for free market. It's just competition. And those people that want it, they'll use it. Those people that don't, they won't. And that's how it should be. Currency should not be centralized and dictated to a population or a society, dictated to them that they have to use it. It shouldn't be like that. It should be I think every state ought to have its own currency, every state, right? And then no federal involvement in it whatsoever, because I think that those states, if every state had its own currency, about half of the states, if not more, would turn to a gold-backed currency. And then those states that didn't have a gold-backed currency and decided to abuse the system, just like the federal government abuses the system, those states will not fare very well. And they will soon have to turn to a real money, a real currency that is backed by gold and silver, or a commodity. So I think that if it was left up to the states, it would be a lot better than if it was left up to the federal government. The people would have the power instead of the government having the power. And isn't that the way it was supposed to be? That the people had the power? Wasn't it these United States? These United States, meaning that it was these states that united to give the federal government its power, not the United States, where the federal government has the power over the states. I believe it's the federal government has the monopoly over the money that we use. It will be the United States, the United States. At least that's what I think. Let's see. Let's bring it down. How you doing, Kenneth? Heather P, how you doing? CR, how are you? TM Cole. Let's see. Evita says, I will be celebrating my 32nd wedding anniversary this Monday. And our gift to each other is one of those Chinese silver bars. It's better than going. Hey, there you go. That is a great gift, a silver bar. Awesome. Make it a kilo. All right, make it a kilo. Okay, let's see. Psalm 91. Thank you very much for becoming a Ladies and Gentlemen's Club member. Oh, goodness. Pitbull Mom, I've done a video a long time ago. Go and take a look at my pressure canning playlist. And there's a video where I did some canning of ground beef. It is extremely easy to do, right? Very easy. So I hope that you go watch it, and it encourages you to do it yourself. Very, very easy to can. Any kind of meat, really, is easy to can. As long as you're doing the cold pack method, very easy to can. But even if you're doing the hot pack method, it's easy also. It's just a couple extra steps. Hey, Chelsea, how are you doing? Good to see you. Kenneth asks, how do you fight a war with no gas or diesel? I don't know. That's a great question. And it brings me to a thought that I had a long time ago, and I shared it with you. And I had this thought a while back, and that I shared with you. I'll share with you again. I said that one of the things that scares me about this administration, one of the things that scares me is that they'll get us into a war that we cannot win. And or they will internally sabotage our chances of winning a war that they get us into, so that we can repay the masters of those people that are owned, who are in our government, or of those people in our government that are owned by foreign entities. That's one of my biggest fears, is that we will get into a war that we cannot win, and that we will be put into a position where it's impossible to win. The only thing that gives me hope when it comes to that is that if we are put in a position where we have to go to war, where we are the underdogs, what gives me hope is the Second Amendment. There are citizens, and to some, this may seem like a bad thing, but it is what ensured our freedoms in the first place when we made this country. All right, when this country became the United States of America, or these United States of America, it's because we were allowed to own arms. And when we were told by a foreign faction, and when I say we, I mean the colonists, when the colonists were told by a foreign faction, hey, you got to give up your arms, they knew enough to say no, because we know what that means. And it is because of those arms that we are here today. It is because of those arms that we ended up as a nation fighting a civil war. All right. And what the history books say is that we fought that civil war. Why? Because we wanted to free the slaves. It's a little more complicated than that. All right. But it's because of the Second Amendment, all right, that people were able to pick up arms. And even though the Civil War was a terrible thing, where so many hundreds of thousands, I think it was like 900,000 or so Americans died because it was a war between Americans. Even though it was a terrible thing, it's a part of history that helped to shape what our country is today. All right. And it's because of that Second Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, that we were able to do that back in the mid 1800s. And therefore, the Second Amendment today is not there so that we can go hunting. It's not there so that we can go get the turkey before Thanksgiving. It's not there so that we can go sports shooting. It's there so that we can ensure that we will always be free, be it from an entity that is within our own borders or from an entity that wants to invade our borders and take over our nation. So the Second Amendment gives me hope that even if we have entities within our own borders that want to sabotage our way of life by allowing another nation to take over our nation, that we would be able to fight back as a people. And it is because of the Second Amendment that we can do that. Do I hope that it ever gets to that? I absolutely hope that it never, ever gets to that. And I forgot who it is that said this. I think it was Thomas Jefferson. But if there has to be war, let it be in my time so that my children won't have to see it. I'm not sure if he's the one that said that, but I stand by that. If there ever has to be war, let it be in my time so that I can fight and my children never have to see it. But I don't think that there's any nation out there that's dumb enough to invade our borders. They will get us in other ways, ladies and gentlemen, because right now we are so divided as a nation. We are so divided as a people that no nation really needs to invade our borders in order for us to collapse from within. But I'll still stand by what I've always stood by, and that is that good will overcome evil, and we will win in the end. Just Arizona, thank you very much for the super chat, Just Arizona. Let me see. Gas generators alerts. I think you're saying marauders. Well, you see, the thing is that marauders that will put you on a spindle and eat you. So I didn't buy one. Okay, yeah, but the thing is, Kenneth, is that when I talk about generating power and crises and things like that, I don't believe there's going to be a Mad Max. Okay, and for example, I've owned a generator for, I don't know, 10, 12 years now. And I've never once had to use my generator during an SHTF situation. But I have had to use it during a power outage. I have had to. And even in countries that have pretty much collapsed, like let's say like Venezuela, right? They pretty much had an economic collapse that lasted more than a decade now, right? There's crime. Crime is higher and stuff there, but there's not like Mad Max situation going on. And I'm sure that if in Venezuela, that if you have a generator, that you're not going to have marauders coming, and knocking down your doors and stuff. So yes, it's true that if we were living through a real SHTF situation, that maybe it wouldn't be very smart to be running a generator. Although there are ways to quiet down your generator, to make it quiet, all right? That would work pretty well, depending on where you are too. How far away are you from others? Okay. But I think that you would be using a generator a lot more for things that are not SHTF than for SHTF itself. So I just think that it's very smart to have a generator, even an inexpensive small generator that produces 1,000 watts, let's say. I think it's very smart to have one. Good question. How do you safely store gasoline? Well, in order to make it last long, use stabilizer. That's one thing, but that's not the premise of your question. I keep my gasoline in a small shed that I call the fuel depot. I think I've got a video on that where I show you what it is and all that kind of stuff. And I keep it about 100, 120 feet away from the house. I keep it in the farthest corner of my property that I can, away from my house. And I just keep all of my fuel in containers that are made for fuel, right? If I have gasoline, I have it in a container that was made for gasoline. I don't have it in soda bottles, okay? So I just keep it in containers that were made for fuel. I keep it in a small shed that doesn't have the sun beaming down on it, directly. And then I keep it far away from my house. I definitely would not store the amount of gasoline that I have like in a garage or something like that. Personally, I would not. All right, let's see where we at. Okay, we're gonna have to bring it down. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that if I miss your question, then just re-ask it, and hopefully I'll catch it. Okay, but let's see. Okay, are we still on? Can somebody give me a 1? Can someone give me a 1 if we are still on? Just a second. Let me check real quick. I think that my chat's turned off. So give me a second. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, my chats have turned off. That's what it is. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm using whatchamacallit? StreamYard. Goodness gracious. I'm using StreamYard right now, and my chats on StreamYard is completely off. But I do see my chats here. That's why I thought that maybe we got disconnected, is because I don't see anything coming in. But I see them here. Okay, it says here, where are you, buddy? Okay, but I'm getting a whole bunch of number 1s. Okay. Let me see if I can put a chat in right here. I'm going to put I'm here. See if it'll bring me in. Okay, so I was able to put one in, but I can't see any of you all. I've never been in this situation before. Can you see me though? You can see me, right? You can. Yes, you can, because oh no, there you go. Yeah, you can see me because I can see myself here on the phone. Chrissy's Corner asks, I don't have a pressure cooker. Can I water bath? You can water bath, but make sure that you only water bath those things that you're able to. All right. Go ahead and get yourself a Balls, the Balls book of pressure canning or something like that. I forget the name, but get it on Amazon. It's on my Amazon storefront. It's like $19. And it's a great guide for you to know what you can and can not water bathe and pressure can, because you definitely don't want to water bathe things like proteins, because that can be a lot of trouble if you do that. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to try to do my best, ladies and gentlemen, with looking at your comments here, because again, I cannot see anything on StreamYard, and I'm afraid of refreshing it, because if I refresh it, then it may turn off our live stream. I've never had this happen before. Let me see if I do this. Just Arizona. Okay, that came on. Let me see, maybe if that resets something here. Nope, sure didn't. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, I'm going to keep going down. Let me see. Linda Bob asks, Rudy, what name does Michael refer to you as? And also, what does he call the missus? He can't talk yet. So he can't talk yet. I keep trying to him say grandpa, but he cannot talk yet. Faye Patterson, thank you very much for this. Look at even the super chats are not appearing on the screen right now. So thank you at least on my screen. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, I can see you all now. This is going to be kind of odd here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Maybe, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I did say a few words there that maybe weren't social media friendly. You know, I did say a few words that maybe weren't social media friendly. And I don't know, though. That's just me thinking out loud. Because someone here says that they just got kicked out of the live. And that it happens every time. I don't understand why. There you go. Never Look Back says non-acidic foods should be pressure can. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Steve says it's the government. Who knows? Maybe it is. Yeah, it's probably StreamYard. Yeah, it probably is StreamYard. And what time is it? Well, let's see. We've been on for a little over an hour, ladies and gentlemen. I was hoping that we could be on for a little longer because I'm having a good time. But, you know, doing it this way is just no good. I'll tell you what. Let's do this instead. I'm going to refresh the page. All right? I'm going to refresh my StreamYard page. If for some reason it does not let me come back up to the live stream, and you see that I didn't come back up to the live stream, then the live stream is over, okay? And if it does let me refresh, then you'll know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try refresh. Hey, Ma, too, let me say hello to Ma before I try this. Hello, Ma, how are you? All right, so I'm going to try to refresh it right now, and let's see if it works. If it doesn't, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in today, all right? Thank you so much. I know this was an impromptu live stream, but I thought that Tuesday is a good day. Number one, I had a little bit of time on my hands. And number two, is one of those days that I don't always have a live stream, all right? And just in case I don't come back because I get kicked out, I want to say thank you very much for all of your support, to all of you. All right, thank you very much to all of you that always click on my videos. If you watch my videos, ladies and gentlemen, a way that you can really help is to let it play all the way through. That helps more than anything. And for those of you that weren't here during the beginning of the live stream, if you're not subscribed to City Prepping, go subscribe to City Prepping and watch his videos. He's a really good guy. He's very professional, a lot more professional than I am. All right. He takes his work on YouTube very seriously, and he does a great job. But more so, subscribe to his channel because he's almost at 1 million subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. And we need to support each other within our community. The better that he does on his channel, the faster he gets to 1 million, the better that it will be for the entire prepping community, and therefore the better that it will be for everyone that becomes new members of our prepping community within YouTube and other social media platforms. So go support him, give him a subscribe. You don't have to say AP sent you. It's not about that. It's about the big picture. It's about all of us sticking together. We all have a common goal to make sure that we can take care of our families in any kind of a crisis, but more so that we can leave behind a better country for our children than the ones that we're in now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so go support City Prepping if you're not subscribed to him. All right, I'm going to try to refresh it now, just in case I don't come back. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm not out yet. Let's see what happens. All right. If you can see me, give me a number one. I think I'm back. Give me a number one if you can see me. But I still can't see. I still can't see any. I still can't see any of your comments on here. Oh, isn't that something? Oh yes, Marfugal. Marfugal is another great YouTube channel. Yes, it is. Adam and Dex are really good guys too. Very good people indeed. Marfugal is one of the first bigger channels that gave me shout outs when I was only at, I don't know, like 5,000-10,000 subscribers. So yeah, Marfugal is a really good guy. And he puts out news every single day, ladies and gentlemen, every day. So go check Marfugal out as well. I'll tell you what, why don't you all put down, let's just finish it off with this. Why don't you all put down a YouTube channel that you really enjoy? That way, some of us that may not know about it can see it here and maybe go check it out. So go ahead and put down some YouTube channels that maybe that you like a lot that maybe we don't know. Let me see. I'll try to. Jason, hello, Jason. Thank you. Let's see. Inside Russia. I've never heard of that. Sutton Days. I love Sutton Days. She is the queen of pressure canning, or the queen of canning. Lead Farmer Armor. Just a Few Acres Farm. Marfugal TV, of course. Survival Living. Joseph over there, my good friend. Prepper Nation, of course. John over there, my good friend as well. Goshen Prepping. Northeast Ohio. Canadian Prepper, of course. I've been watching Canadian Prepper for at least a decade now, I think. If not, yeah, about a decade or so, right? I think he got into the prepping thing like in 2012 or something like that. I could be wrong, but I've been watching him forever. Milo on the Ready. The Rose Red Homestead. Financial Prepper. I love Chris and his lovely wife. Grumpy Acres Farm and the Prepared Homestead. Redacted, Ohio. Okay. Funky Prepper. Darren is a really good guy. I love the Funky Prepper. I was going to do a live stream with him here a couple weeks back, but he took sick. He took sick pretty bad. Deep South Homestead, Squirrel Tribe, and the Prepper Nation. Yeah, Squirrel Tribe. We already said John at Prepper Nation. Bear Independent, of course, that's a given. Southern Prepper 1, that's a given. Appalachia's Homestead with Patara, that's another given. We have a lot of the same likes here. Deep South Homestead. Tule. I don't know if that's the name of a prepper channel. Let's see. A Call for an Uprising, never heard of that. My New Tennessee Home. Appalachia Homestead. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, absolutely. New York Prepper, good guy. Full Spectrum Survival, absolutely. Provident Prepper. Anna's Food. I think I know one that's called Evita Loves Cooking and Preps. Let's see. Deep South Homestead. Deep South Bama with Mr. Tom. Let's see. Look at this. Ghosty says that the Alaska Prepper community was the first one that Ghosty subscribed to when they started watching prepping channels. That's awesome. Thank you. That's an honor, really. Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm. Hey, how you doing, Redneck Prepper? Good to see you. Homesteading with the Zimmermans. Roots and Refuge. That's a good one. Peter Zian. Off Grid. Okay, we got that one. Orlando Prepper. I haven't heard of that one. Let me see. Let's bring it down some more. Homestead Heart is a really good channel indeed. Very nice couple. They do a great job. The Max. I've seen that one a few times. How you doing, Ultra Mega Patriot? Scalp Productions. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you for that. I was trying to pronounce your name right. Oh, Magic Prepper. Absolutely, Matt. Absolutely. Good guy. Very good man. All Day, Everyday Preparedness is another Matt. All right. All Day, Everyday Preparedness. The host of that channel's name is Matt as well. Another really good guy. Fellow veteran. London Real. Listen to this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I don't get banned for this one. The Alex Jones channel. Oh, man. Provident Prepper. Kyle's Cabin. Angry Prepper, of course, Angry Prepper. Those of you that watch the Angry Prepper, you know how much he loves spam. Green Country, Ozark Family, Homestead Corner, All American Prepper. All right. Hannah's Happy Home, Mama Bear Prepping, Karma. Okay, let's see. All right, that's going to be it. Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and sign off for good now. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for being patient with this little thing that happened here. Oh, someone said redacted. Redacted. Rain Country. Of course, pinball. We mentioned pinball I don't know how many times today. Let's see. The Popular Report. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, have a great rest of your week. All right. I can't guarantee that I have a lot to talk about as far as putting out a video. I'll try to put one out tomorrow. It's just this week is a really, really busy week. All right. I'm trying to finish up on a project that's very, very important for me to get done this year. So very busy week. However, again, thank you very much for all of your support, ladies and gentlemen. I truly do appreciate every one of you. And thank you very much for keeping me a little company today. All right, I hope that you have a great rest of your week. Be safe out there and keep on prepping. Hey, look at that rice. You all know what's going on with rice, right? Have you heard about what's going on with rice? Remember that video that I did about 7-8 months ago? I think it was November, December of last year. I said in 2023, the price of rice is going to double. Well, it's starting to happen. So get prepped up. Things aren't going to get any cheaper, right? The rate of inflation might be going down, but prices are not going down anytime soon, right? Have a great day. God bless every one of you. If you are new to the live stream, or if you've subscribed within the last couple of weeks, put I am new in all caps. Well, I can't even shout you out. I'll just go to the outro. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out. We'll talk to you all later, ladies and gentlemen.